Hey guys, today we're here and we're going to be showing you how to secure and set up your Linux machine so that it is as secure as possible on your system, and so that your chances of your machine being hacked or compromised are decreased dramatically. So the first thing you need to do is you need to go and you need to purchase and decide what hosting you want to use. There's many things that you should choose or pick from there's many hosts you can pick from. Some good ones are some cheap, decent ones for the price. OVH is VPS servers if you're just doing small tasks or small web hosting. Those are they're pretty nice little boxes, just they're virtual machines. They're nice and cheap. I think they start at like $3.50 for their cheapest plan. Another option is what I use personally is oh, nice if I could type. This is what I personally use. They're not the cheapest, but also not the most expensive things that I've ever seen, or hosts that I've ever seen. I usually use it because they have an option to charge by the hour versus by the month. So a lot of my stuff I just do for short periods of time, so I just use an hourly host. Another option for hourly hosts is DigitalOcean. Oh, didn't spell that right. DigitalOcean. I've used them before too. They did a thing with GitHub for their GitHub student pack. They also charge by the hour. So I got a bunch of free credit with the GitHub student pack. But other than that, they charge by the hour. So as you can see here, they charge 3 cents for an hour. It's helpful if you're just doing small testing environments and you just need it for a couple hours or something to test your work, like your program or something. They don't support Windows, so Windows developers, you won't be able to really test your program if you're using a Windows developer or using your Windows developer, but for the most part, they're pretty decent. So I just set up a new new Ubuntu 15.10 system. So here's all my information if you like it. I'm gonna destroy the server as soon as I'm done with it anyway. So have a nice look at what's on there. Okay. So now there's 2 pieces of software that we're going to use mainly today. 2 pieces of software that you need to download to your personal computer. So the first one is Putty, which both of these software you can get on the Putty website. So just Google Putty. I usually go to the second link, although there's not really anything wrong with this link, but it just redirects to the other page, so just saves you one step. So the first one you're going to need is the Putty. The top link, it says putty.exe. You're going to download that. You're going to save that to wherever you want to save it. And the next one we're going to be using is PuttyGen. So you can click and download that. So just save. So since I already have these, I'm not going to go ahead. We don't really need them, but so the next thing you're going to want to do is go and open Putty. So now that we have PuTTY open, you see I have some previous connections and servers that I have used. Now you're going to want to, after you've purchased your VPS, your dedicated server, you're going to get your information in your email, or however your host has sent you your information. So Ubiquity sent me an email, so this is just a copy of the email. So you're going to want to find your primary IP address, or your public IP address, or your external IP address, something along those lines. Usually when a host sets up your VPS or your dedicated machine, it's going to be your external, your public, your primary IP address, and the port 22 to connect to your SSH server. I personally, once I've set up the machine, changed the SSH port. It doesn't really add that much more security. It doesn't add any security really, but it's just something I like to do. Just kind of security. It's not really that helpful, but it just makes me feel better. So we're going to take our public or our primary IP address, or we're going to copy it. And we're going to paste it. And we're going to hit open. Then if you get PuTTY security alert, this is usually okay to you can just skip it. It doesn't really affect anything, so I mean, there's probably some technical meaning to it, some security error, but I think by the registry it just means that you haven't connected to the server before and it doesn't know if this is trusted connection or what. So we're gonna hit yes. So now we're gonna go to our username. Most hosts will give you root access to your server as soon as you sign up for the server and you set up your machine. I'm also going to show you how to set up a root or a non-root user that can perform root commands with the right password. So my default username is root, and then I'm going to copy this. And with PuTTY, you can't just do Control-V, so you can do, don't click on the white bar, but if you right-click in the black, it will paste what's on your clipboard. And there you go. Now you're into the system. So the first thing you're going to want to do as soon as you log into your system is you're going to want to change your password, your root password. So with Linux, this is a command line. This is for, usually when you're having a Linux server, you're going to use a command line. So to change a password with the Linux command line, you're going to type passwd. So now it's going to be changing the password for the user I'm currently using. So currently I'm using a root password. So I'm going to type my password in. So, okay, wait. Oops, spelled it wrong. So, yes, you don't be freaked out when you start changing your password and it doesn't show any dotted bullets or anything. With Linux, when you change a password, or usually when you enter a password to the Linux operating system, it doesn't echo your password. So it doesn't show your password, doesn't show any bullets. You just have to trust that you're typing it correctly. And it gives you a second prompt to confirm that's what you wanted to type. So there you go. So once you reset your password, you're going to want to make sure you use a very secure password. This is just a precaution. I'm going to be turning off root password login, so you won't be able to use a password to log into your root account. You have to use something called an SSH key, which I'm also going to show how to use. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to create a new user. You can do Control-L and it will clear your PuTTY screen. So user add username. So once you've done that, you've added the user. The user now exists. but the user doesn't have a password and won't be able to log into the machine. So now you're going to want to type in password, the username that you just created. And just as before, the password is not echoed, so you won't be able to see what you're typing. So now we've created the user, but the user can't do anything to the system. The user can come in and execute some commands, but it can't do anything, such as install programs, run programs as root. So now that we're logged in as the root account, we're going to run a command called usermod. So you're going to type in usermod -ag sudo, then the username. Everything in Linux is case sensitive. So using nano, I can make a text file called text.txt. Or I can make a text file called text.txt. And see, it says new file with a different file. And I can list the files, and there's a text with a capital T and a text with the lowercase t. So make sure everything you type, it's in the correct case. So now we have created a user that can use the root. Can run root commands using the sudo prefix. So the next thing we want to do is we want to do something called SSH keys and disable the root password login. I personally like to be able to log into the root should I need to do any major recovery changes or fix anything on the system. So I don't personally disable the root login completely. I just turn it so that it has to have an SSH key to be able to log into it. So what we're going to do now, is we're going to be using the program called PuttyGen. So we're going to be opening this program right here called puttygen.exe. So we're going to open that up. And personally, I use SSH to DSA, but you can use SSH to RSA. I recommend using SSH2 no matter what. Most modern Linux systems will be able to use SSH or using SSH2, so you can have a better range of support with the other systems. So once we've opened this, we're going to hit generate a public-private key pair. So you just rub your mouse cursor around in here, and it's generating randomness, so it's generating random keys it will use to act as basically a password. So now we've saved this. You can use a key passphrase. I don't personally use a key passphrase because part of the reason that I use an SSH key is so that I don't have to remember passwords. So I don't personally use key passphrases, but if you want to, you can. You just have to enter your password at the beginning anyway. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit save private key. Yeah, I don't want to use a passphrase. So I'm going to go to OBS. Oh, no, sorry. Linux video. And I'm going to save this as nextvideo.ppk. So that's what this is, .ppk, save. So now you see it up here, it's linuxvideo.ppk. And then I'm going to copy what's in here. I'm going to do Control-C with that. And now I'm gonna head back into PuTTY, and I'm gonna go to cd.ssh. Well, okay. So if you're using a non-root user and you're doing this with your local username, you're gonna go to the squiggly key, because that means your home directory -.ssh, and then you're going to type in ls, and that'll list your directory, or list what's in your directory. So that I'm going to type nano authorized keys. As you can see, there's an SSH key already in here. And then I'm going to right click again, and it's going to paste my key in. So let me go back to the beginning. There's an easier way to do this, but this is what I'm going to do. So you can see that the top of this and the top of this are matching. So now I'm going to type in Control X and then hit Y and then hit enter. And I'm not sure if this is completely necessary, but I like to restart SSH, the SSH service, the server, before I try and log in to the next step. So I service SSH restart, and then it doesn't show that it's been restarted, but it's been restarted. So now I'm gonna close PuTTY, then I'm gonna open up PuTTY again. So I'm gonna get this PuTTY configuration though. So I'm gonna put this IP address in, but I'm not gonna hit open this time. So I've saved all that. I'm not gonna hit open this time. I'm gonna go down here where it says saved sessions, and I'm gonna type in a name. So I'm gonna type in Linux video, and then I'm gonna hit save. And this is probably unnecessary, but I'm gonna hit load. And I'm gonna go down here to connection, then data, and then I'm gonna type in root, and then I'm gonna go down here where it says SSH. I'm gonna hit this little plus key, and I'm gonna go to auth, and then I'm gonna go here where it says browse. So I'll hit browse, and then I'll go to wherever I just saved that PPK from PuTTYgen. So I'm gonna hear it says Linux video PPK, and then I'm gonna scroll all the way back up, and I'm gonna hit session, and then I'm gonna hit save, and then I'm gonna open this, and switch right back into PuTTY, and boom, you see we didn't even have to enter a password. That's how SSH keys can add security, and when combined with this next step I'm going to show you, and they can add ease of access when you don't have to enter a password if you didn't opt to use the key passphrase. So the next step is to go to nano/etc/sshd, or no, that's SSH, sorry, then do sshd is _config. So you can see this is all the configuration file for the SSH service, the SSH server. So I'm gonna ignore all this stuff for pretty much this video. I'm gonna scroll down, or push the down key, or the down arrow, down to where it says permit root login. I'm gonna scroll over, and then I'm gonna type in without -password. And then hit Control X, and then Y, and then enter. And service SSH. I'm going to restart the SSH server again. Service SSH restart. Okay. So So now I'm gonna close Putty, and I'm gonna open another Putty window, and I'm gonna open Linux Video, and it should work. Okay. So now I'm gonna show you what would happen if you try to enter or try to log in without the SSH key. You try to use a password. Oops. This password's not active anymore. So we're gonna hit OK, or we're going to hit open without loading this right here. We're just gonna hit open. I'm gonna type in a root. I can type in my right password. And it's going to say access denied. And it'll say access denied again. And it'll say access denied again. So you have to have the root SSH key to be able to log into this server. Now, with the root access, or with the root username. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when you log into the new user that we just created. So right now what we've saved, this is the root login. So I'm going to save another username with the one that's not root. So I'm going to type in I'm just going to type in Linux video-xx99.xx, and then I'm going to hit save on that one. I'm going to double click that, and then I'm going to type in xx99.xx, and then I'm going to type in the password that I created. There we go. Now we're logged in. Okay, so cannot change directory. So the system didn't create the right folder. That's okay, that's okay. So now we're going to go back into the root login. If this happens, you just go back to your root, you do make directory /home/xx99.xx, and you do chon, so you're changing the owner recursively, so it changes all the files in this folder. And you do so that you're changing it to xx99.odd totally, so no other user has that or can own that folder. And then you're going to type in /home/xx99.xx. There you go. So now we can go. Restart. So now we're going to do a new session. This one. x99.xx. Change it to the type in that new password we just created, and there you go. And then I'm going to type in this password, and now I can control the root user again. So now we're going to close that out. We're going to close all this out. Close this, and then. So now we are controlling the root user. Or we're controlling our own user that is not affiliated with the root account, but also can use root commands if it needs to. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment your favorite part, comment if it helped you, comment if you need help. I'll try and respond to everybody who needs help, and I'll try and respond to most people who just need help anyway. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time.